So good morning. We just came out of the Peck's Corner shelter. It was 0.4 of a mile down that way. It was a good night, I would say. The place ended up getting really crowded after I went to bed, because this morning I seen all kinds of faces, some new, some familiar, and now we're heading north again, ideally to the next shelter, which is about 13.4 miles. The only problem is that there's a word that the place is gonna be as packed, if not worse than what this one was, and this new place doesn't have as many tent spots. And with people doing reservations, section hikers doing reservations to stay in the shelter, that takes away from people that normally stays in shelters to do the tents instead, which makes it hard for those like me that rarely get early to a campsite. So I don't know, there's only two options besides going to that shelter at 13.4 miles. One is to stop within the next 5.4 miles, which is extremely short day. Very unlikely to want to do that, which is a bigger shelter closer. And then the other one is just to push through and get out of the Smokies today, but that would mean a 20+ mile day, which I'm not really ready or prepared for yet. So we'll have to go with the flow. There's several of us on the same situation, so by the time we get to this thing is called the Tri-Knob shelter or something like that, 13.4 miles from here, once we get there, we'll be able to assess the situation and make a determination of what we're gonna do tonight. Like I said, there's too many of us, so we can probably, when the time comes, stick together and make something happen. That's the beauty of the trail. But right now, it seems to be a very nice morning. It's not really cold, sun is up. There's still few people left at the shelter, still packing up and getting ready to go, but most already left. I'm one of the ones leaving kind of late. It's a little after 9 o'clock, and we'll see what these days has for us. Hopefully it'll be easy hike. And here's the first view of the day. What a beautiful landscape right there.
I've been alone before, but never with you. Your mind is not where your heart is, but let me tell you, you're gonna
So this is the 3-corner shelter, horse hitchback, 500 feet. I don't know that that's part of the AT. AT is south and north, so good deal. I think the shelter goes, I think the AT goes through the shelter, which is good. I need to get some water, take a 5-10 minute break. So let's see what this shelter looks like. This is where it would have been ideal to push yesterday. We would have been 5.4 miles closer to the end of the Smokies, but oh well. We did got some good rest. So this is the Tri-Knob shelter. That's the preview. Hang-in food cables or bear cables. What's going on? You made it.
What we got over here?
Preview. Yep.
You got tent sites over here?
I don't know. Are you planning on staying here?
Well, if I'm gonna walk, I just need to go.
I know. I'm going. I want to definitely keep going.
Because if there's no tent sites, there's no reason to stay.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't really researched the place much. And that is the shelter. But like I said, there's not really any obvious tent spots. So we'll see. We'll keep moving to the next spot.
Oh, we're breaking up in pieces on this merry-go-round. Oh, it's not a pleasant sight. We got nowhere to hide. Ooh, got any final wishes? I've already made mine. Oh, best of luck, I see you on the other side. It's a different kind of lonely, it's a different kind of sad. 'Cause we got no more if only, and we stopped feeling bad. So we're moving on. Yeah, we're moving on.
So we're about 4 miles from the shelter. We're gonna try to find accommodations for the night. Hopefully there'll be room. It's already been a kind of long, luckily not so hard day. I've been hiking alone for the most part, running into different people at different times, but really alone. So we are on Tent City.
I'm trying to make room in my tablet. No, fingers crossed.
Is it packed up there?
Well, it's not packed like this, but there's no spots. There's nothing level.
That's what I heard about there.
There's a bunch of spots, but there's like one tent spot
One tent spot.
that you can get 2 tents on that's
How about
level.
the shelter?
The shelter is filling up, but nobody wanted to stay in the shelter because they were afraid to get bumped out by section hikers.
Did
because
any
it's
of
a
them show
weekend.
up yet? 'Cause
It's a weekend.
She said there was like 7 or 8 permits for that shelter. Ridge Runner back at
Oh, I don't know.
Are those are the boys from last night there?
I think
The
some
young
of the family
boys?
there.
Yeah.
I think
I
they
saw
said
that.
they were going.
Yeah, and the
that
dad.
night.
Yeah, I saw the dad.
That's what they were saying this morning.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
We just thought we'd come up and say hi.
Hi!
Little trailer park in the woods.
So this is the trailer park in the woods, they said. We got
Well, I
1,
guess it's better
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Don't forget.
8,
Hold on. There's one behind the bushes, all the way down.
10, 11. In this little spot that we're not really
And I'm
supposed
thinking there's probably another 3 coming in the next hour.
to reserve spot.
Alright, so made it to the Cosby Knob shelter. Unfortunately, we didn't really get many spots left for the tents. So we end up camping up the hill a little bit. Here's the preview. Just came down to check it out and use it before I get in the sack. Looks like it's a very wide open space. There's a Firewalker and YOLO down there. Just took my food bag. Looks like they got themselves a spot. Very bottom. See if we can zoom in. You can't see them really. Anyway, there's a few tents down here and then the shelter. But we're not gonna stay here. We are up in our little tent city. Much better spot than this. So let's go take a look. I'll have to come here in the morning to get my food bag and have breakfast and use the privy again before start the hike for the day. Tomorrow we are out of the Smokies for good. It's gonna be at least a 10.5 mile day. I really thought I was gonna have to push another 6 miles today for a total of almost 20 miles to the Davenport Gap Shelter. So anyway, luckily it's not really cold right now. Now there's a little word that there might be some rain coming at 2 in the morning. Hope it's not true. But we'll face. Where are you going?
Hanging my food up.
Oh, with your backpack?
Oh, because I didn't want to carry my food bag.
Oh, come on. Talking about crazy. All right. That's good. So that was siesta. Going down to the shelter area to put up her food bag. I thought she was pushing when she was already set up right behind where I'm at. But apparently she just didn't want to carry her food bag on her hands, so she put it inside her backpack and she's carrying it that way. Well, maybe having all these tents together is gonna give us a little more warmth for the night in the event that it gets cold. Plus, there's 2 service dogs in the campsite to protect us from any bears or wildlife. So everybody marching to put their food up. That's awesome.
Right, yeah, thanks.
Okay. How you doing? And back to home.
Now the ones that you know, they're a different story. We were hiking. It was actually part of the AT. We're coming around the corner. We can see the young down in the store, just so we stop. And he's poking along, just checking shit out. He gets right next to the trail.
Well, good morning. We're getting out of the little tent city we built last night. And now I'm walking down to the shelter so I can get my food bag and get me some breakfast. Use the privy, wash my face, and get back on trail. Because today we're getting out of the Smokies. We're only like, I believe it's 7 miles, 7.2 miles or so from being out of this nice park. All right, so we're leaving the campsite. Sun is up, it's getting warmer. Here with Jolo. I don't know where Firewalker is at. She might be ahead, she might be behind. And then Numbers, Emily, and everybody else on the campsite. I'm thinking they're still packing up. Hasn't been too long since I left there. And I end up really didn't having breakfast, so just had a energy bar and some orange juice on my water bottle. So on we go, getting out of the Smokies. Sunday, April 3rd. 2 more days and it'll be a month since I started this crazy journey. 230 plus miles. Quite an adventure. So that's the Mount Camerair Trail, and then the AT goes this way. Do I want to go check that tower out? or not. 0.6 of a mile. Apparently YOLO decided to go up to the tower. It's 0.6 of a mile each way, so that's 1.2 miles more for today. Well, guess what? Daniel decided he's not gonna do it. I'll just hear him telling me how great it was and how worth it was. But I got this belief that the AT has already enough miles as it is, and that there's plenty of great views and towers and things that are right on the trail. No need to get off, unless it's one of those things that you know a must do, a must have. In this case, I'm on a pass on Mount Camerer, or however it's pronounced, just like I did the Bonnion Gap or whatever it was called. Even though people said that it was an epic view. Sure, there's plenty of people that are going to agree with that, and some others that are going to disagree with that, but you know, everybody makes their own choice, everybody hikes their own hike. So my hike tells me to continue on the AT, and that's what I'm going to do. I made it up to this rock. It's right on the trail. Since I skipped the tower that was a little far behind, I decided to get on this rock so you can see. And I got this magnificent view of all this area. I'm not sure what I'm looking at, but it looks good. And that's what I'm saying, you know, there's enough views as it is on the AT, and I've been in North Carolina for about a year now, doing all kinds of hikes, and I've seen so many amazing places, especially through the Blue Ridge Parkway, Mount Mitchell, and you know, several different mountains within the state. So, trying to minimize my out of trail hike, as long as it's within the trail. 21, almost 2,200 miles is plenty of miles for me to cover. Plenty of opportunities to get beautiful spots like this one. And there's YOLO coming behind me. I'm gonna ask him to come up here and join me for this nice view before I jump. Smile, cheese. Do you see my? I saw your message and I wrote you one too. Say I'm going up there. How was it? How was the tower? I know, that's what I said. 1.2 more miles, no way. It's enough as it is.
We've come this far. Might as well enjoy it. How's that? That was good.
Oh yeah, epic. Epic right there. We got numbers approaching this magnificent spot. We're gonna make sure we get a good picture of her, and she looks like she's mastered the trail. There we go. How you feeling?
Oh, pretty good. Just got cold.
Yeah, it was a little chilly coming
So
up.
I used every hairband I had to try and stay warm. It's nice and warm now.
All right, now your turn to get up
Somebody's
there.
gonna have to take my picture up there.
I am. Leave me your phone and I'll do it with all the cameras. Up on this rock really high, getting numbers to model for us to enjoy this view. Look at this. An amazing view, and I thought I was getting it from down there. Now we're gonna switch spots here. You're always gonna get my camera and try to do some magic. Switching spots now. I'll have a memory of. Some of the half a memory of me dying as I roll down these. Being a little dramatic here. Yes, we made it to the top of the world. At least pretending. We're gonna go somewhere down those mountains. Yes. Davenport Gap, 2.9 miles. So we're almost out of the Smokies. It's been a long journey. Chestnut Branch Trail and Mount Camera Trail. Yeah, we skipped that one. And we keep going down. And now 1.9 miles from Davenport Gap. And I don't know what that is, but we gotta keep going. We're finally approaching Davenport Gap. And here's the box. We're gonna drop the other half of the permit that we put in when we got in on the. So nothing to write on them. Entry date.
But they haven't even come. What kind of stuff it is?
Jeez. Get in there.
It's fine.
Alright, so we're officially out of the Smokies. We'll probably talk about it tonight and see what our conclusions. Back into the real world where we can do whatever we want, come whatever we want, and not have to worry about our food bag and all these other. Well, but not as critical. Well, but what I'm saying is, like, now we can go ahead and continue hanging our bag wherever we want and sleeping wherever we want and doing everything. It's a lot of people. All right. You found that.
Oops, sorry.
You're fine. And then we got numbers that made it off the Smokies as well. Hey, glad you catch up.
Stuff in that box.
Yep.
I didn't do that.
You didn't just leave your stuff and go back and put it. They're doing, yeah, they're making pancakes. Yep.
That was gonna, like, I didn't, it was hard to commit to it by the time I was